Alright, this is going to be the first of a kind of video that I've ever done. And I just was talking a bit with Merve Watson. He called me and he wanted to know about the update on the Joepipe technology. So we shared a bit, and that kind of inspired me to do this video. Just a little background information. There's been a time in my life for about 10 years where I would write poems that the Holy Spirit would inspire, prophetic poetry, and that changed to prophecy, spiritual songs, not too many songs. But now there's been a change tonight in the way that I teach the Joepipe technology, because I'm not teaching it from an intellectual viewpoint. That the Lord has raised me up to where I'm sharing it as He gives it to me by revelation. As you know, the Lord gave me the Joepipe technology in the spring of 2004 in Port Alberni by way of a dream where I saw a fire spinning inside of a pipe. 7 days later, Jesus came to me. I didn't see Him, but I heard His audible voice, and He said that the perfection of the fuel would lead to the discovery of unlimited heat, and that could be shared with the world, and that would become the most astounding technology of this century, the 21st century, and that in turn would lead to the discovery of unlimited energy reserved only for the remnant of God. This is a millennial technology that will be used during the millennium. And so the Holy Spirit is working me to teach from this aspect, as I know that during the millennium that I will be teaching the Joepipe technology to the people there. It's you just know because you know, right? And so I'm going to try to bring out the Joepipe technology as revealed by the Holy Spirit. I have not practiced this. The download's already in me, so I'm just going to unpack what the Lord has put in my spirit. Okay, the Joepipe technology is an implosion reaction. You got a pipe, you got air and propane. Could be anything else, right? Could be water gas, it could be using ultrasonics to break down gasoline or diesel or used oil. But anyway, this is a choke. So where the laminar flow goes in there, there's a pressure drop in here, right? And your pressure drop is equal to about 1/3 of the diameter. That works the best. Normally, the distance from A to B times about 16 will actually give you your standing wave inside the pipe. And there's a way where the standing wave can be changed into a sine wave. Anyway, you put a little bit of air and propane and you light the front. And you get that, a nice yellow flame. But as this end heats up, you can, at this point you can actually turn the air and the propane down some. It creates a seal like this, where you'll see this popping like that, and it begins to oscillate there. Okay. So this oscillation here it's actually out of the third state of matter, and it's dependent upon the strength of the vacuum produced by the combustion process or endothermic reaction, right? So this, in order to bring matter from the third state to the fourth state using the combustion process, you increase the vacuum potential, right? And that's going to cause a flame that can oscillate, where you get a curtain of energy. It can vibrate. You can actually get a flame like this, where the flame will actually vibrate. You can see the flame vibrating. And there's other things that can happen too, depending on the fuel, right? So we know that in here is where you're taking taking matter from the third state and you're shifting into the ionized state or fourth state of matter. Okay, so the normal operation of the Joepipe using propane will develop about 2150 Fahrenheit coming out the end. If you overdrive the process, the carbon, so you got blue flame here, and you get carbon monoxide that goes through there, and as it comes out the end and mixes with the air, you get a nice burn, right? Exothermic reaction outside the pipe. Now, so the normal operation of the pipe, I measured the core temperature using propane as high as 2560 F. That's by using a laser light thermometer to measure the core. And if this was copper, this would get to about 1100 degrees Fahrenheit, the outside of the copper. Depends if it's summer or winter. In the summer, when there's more moisture in the air, you tend to, some of that moisture is converted into hydrogen that can get this very hot. It can turn the outside of that copper a brilliant orange. And so if I had air and propane going in this, and if it had it cranked up, you would not be able to get within 6 feet of the end because of the mass heat that's being produced, right? Okay, implosion technology. Now, you want to go from the normal state or the third state and shift it into the fourth state. And to this, you would use some form of nitrate to give to bond with the fuel that would kickstart the flame. Normally, a propane flame is only 3 feet per second. But when you add an oxidizer, say like ammonium nitrate, when injected into the airstream, should heat up to produce nitric acid. It's going to give this a kickstart. And you already got a circuit. It's already wanting to form a circuit inside the pipe where the flame wants to spin around, not laminar flow. So you have an electrical circuit there. It's just what vacuum does. It helps shift it. And so if you added ammonium nitrate or some other oxidizer, this would go from, say, 3 feet per second up to about 30,000 feet per second. Now that's really spinning. You have a vortex, right? You got a vortex. Now, if I can get it to that point, I've seen this many times, and for the last 15 years I've been looking for the trigger. Trying to understand all this, the trigger that shifts the Joepipe from the normal state into the quantum state, where you actually produce some form of ionized burn in excess of 5,000 degrees. Now, say you play around with the ammonium nitrate or whatever oxidizer, and you're able to trip the flame. So we need to draw a crucible. So this would be your let's see. I'll just draw a burn early tube, coming like this, coming like that. So your air is coming in here, right? Get this right here. You got your air coming in there, and here you got your propane, and you might have an oxidizer. ZER, okay? And the reason why you want to add your propane and oxidizer at the low pressure zone here, high velocity, is so that the combustion process doesn't flash back into here. Because you're getting into detonation speed from normal propagation speeds. So say if you actually get a cone reaction, you have enough, so this is burning so fast, spinning so fast, it actually creates a vacuum pole, right? And the vacuum pole is the accelerator to spin this energy form. You're getting it firsthand as the Lord's given this to me. Now, if we turn the flame upside down, we'll make a cone. Okay? The shape will have to do with frequency. And so this would be the fire burning backwards. So the fire is actually spinning in here. So you gotta, let's do it this way. At the top of the cone, I'm just making this into segments. This would be going to be the Fibonacci sequence 369 that Tesla talks about. Now what do you see here? Right here, here you might have, what would the, I'm just guessing here, it definitely is going to be more than 3 feet per second. It's a 1,000, it's a 100 feet per second. And as it goes in, this might be 150. This would be 200, 250, 300 feet per second, 350, 400, 450, and say 500 feet per second. It's going to be higher than that, probably a whole, probably tenfold of this. So you could probably add on a zero and call it good. So what you're seeing here is a spiral of energy. So it's going to have different bands. So it's starting off at this frequency and it's spinning tighter and tighter and tighter. It's becoming compressed. So what's happening here is that matter, the hydrocarbons in the fuel, is being broken down into individual atoms. So the molecular state of the fuel is shaken apart, and with enough energy you can unbond every single all the atoms that make up the hydrocarbon molecules. So when it comes down to this point, it depends on the speed of your frequency. The faster you turn it, more breakdown that you get. So maybe at this point here, all matter is broken down into submolecular matter, right? So what happens here, you're going to get a sea of atoms like this that begins to oscillate, that the vibration frequency is going to go into these different atoms that have been broken down by ionization, and they're going to vibrate. So it's going to set up a chain reaction within the carbon atom itself, within the oxygen atom, and whatever atoms that make up this fuel on this subatomic level, right? So what happens, it's going to jump into a quantum state. So if you got, say, let's see your nucleus, proton, and all that, and you got your different orbitals, which just make that many. I think carbon has 4 orbitals. So you might have carbons there. You might have more out here, right? And you might have maybe a few paired electrons on the outermost. So when that begins to vibrate, it vibrates the outer band of the valence. So what happens? Energy could be pulled in or energy could be given out. But the vibration will set up a state of imbalance. So what happens? That the nucleus of the carbon or whatever element that it is going to bring this into a state of balance. So what happens in the vibration? That the electrons take on a quantum overload of electrons. In other words, this is going to be piled full of electrons. They're going to try to get packed in here any way that they can. So this would be an abnormal state. So when the electron valence is saturated, then it releases the quantum state of energy. So this would be about 6 state matter, possible 7 state matter, because you're tapping into the atomic structure of an atom, setting it off balance to where it corrects itself and generates this enormous release of energy, right? Planck's equation, this association of electrons. So when you look at a star in collapse, it does the same thing. Matter is being converted into energy, and even to the point where the electrons are disintegrated, converted into energy, and you get a collapse into a proton. The protons are used up, and then it goes into a neutron, right? So you got a neutron star. So the discovery that the Lord has given me, right, is the ability to change matter from the 3rd state, shift it into the 4th state, if you can get this the spin going here, right? So all the energy is going in. So you got your circle. You're looking at it from the top down. So what this is doing, you're going to get a tighter and tighter spin. So this matter is being compressed inward, because in the center you got your vacuum. So your vacuum is causing a negative vortex to occur. It's as simple as that. This is very simple technology, but it's a technology that's going to revolutionize the millennial kingdom, and it will be used to help clean up the earth. So, I haven't sat down and put together this talk. This talk is coming as the Lord reveals it. So it's the first of its kind in the world. So what I've just shared with you here has not been shared to anyone that I know of in the world. This is a new release. The Holy Spirit would have me to teach and to share this with you. Now, using the Joepipe technology in a nominal sense, without going quantum state, full quantum state, you might get it to shift it from 3rd state and maybe partially out of the 3rd state to where fuel could be upgraded to maybe 3 or 4, maybe 500%. Don Stein, who ran with this technology, I taught him 7-8 years ago. He patented the technology, claiming it for himself, and he has proven by the numbers that even using propane to power the Joepipe is 300% more effective. So he's left me with nothing, and he hasn't come through on his promises. And so now the Lord would have me to share the secret of how to convert normal state matter into the quantum state in order to extract the thermal energy. Now if you're going to use just the normal state of the Joepipe, say using propane, or you might use some kind of gasification, It might be plastic, gasification, pyrolysis. Could be a mix of garbage. Now, if I were going to use this to make the best use of the Joepipe possible, the biggest impact to the world at present, how would you use it? It's very, very simple. You know, out in the oceans, you got plastic that could be gotten rid of. You know, unlimited supply of waste plastic and mixed with anything else. So it'd be very simple to make a crucible, and this could be upgraded to any size. So you got a crucible like this, right? Just a big, huge pot, and see in here, you could actually bring in something like that, and you would have a lid on this. This would be like a pressure canner, right? So you got your gases coming out of here, and this is all filled up with plastic. This, you know, these are big containers, so 50 gallon, 100 gallon, 500 gallon containers. So you got the Joepipe in here, like this. You're going to create a gap around there, like this. So what happens, you got your air and your propane, or whatever. Maybe you might shift this to about 3,000 degrees, 3,500 degrees. And so you got your mass flame coming out of here, because you're just burning the vapors off this, but 3, 4, maybe 500 times more efficient. Got your flame coming out, it goes around, it comes up here, it comes up here, and so this is the exhaust coming out. You got insulation around there. That's to keep the heat within this pyrolysis chamber. If you actually generate the ionized flame here, you can actually do direct gasification. In other words, you take this, you have this built into the lid, and you just close the lid down and light her up, and you'll be producing 5, 6, 7,000 degrees of plasma injection for your pyrolysis. So for the cleaning up the garbage on the ocean, this would be a win-win situation. Because you don't have to supply any fuel. You use maybe 20%, maybe 30% of the fuel that you generate, because your heating system is so highly efficient that it's out of the third state of matter. So you have very intense heat here. This could be ceramic, so you could have a big ceramic pot, you know, with a liner around it, and that's it. So you'd be able to do maybe, I don't know, 500 pounds, maybe 1,000 pounds of plastic at a time. Of course, you'd have to take out the water and maybe shred it and push it in, and you know, squeeze it out, right? Just have something to come down to squeeze out the water, so it could be packed solid, right? You could have something like this, or make this into a hopper where all the plastic would be squished in there. And so you're just trying to compress it and take out all the air that you can. So in a couple of hours, 500 pounds of plastic would be turned into oil. And when the gases come off, you could use that to power up the Joepipe. The vapors that come off the gasification or the pyrolysis of the plastic would be more than efficient to run the Joepipe. Okay, I hope you enjoyed my first class, and in time I will be coming to you live from the University of Jerusalem in the Millennium Kingdom. So the Lord has given this to me tonight, as my first lesson to get out to the world. Unlimited heat system. Just like the Lord said, and Jesus spoke to me in an audible voice, says, I'm going to put something in your hands that's going to revolutionize the world and be the #1 discovery of this century. And I'd like to hear back from you guys out there. Thank you, my brother Merve, for inspiring me to do this video. And I sure like to work with you and to get this, maybe a project like this off the ground, so that could actually go into production right away. This is Joshua Taylor, Donald D. Taylor, coming to you from my little place here, Boston Bar, British Columbia.